Hello, everyone. This is like the 500th time I've tried to. No, not really. It's really more like the fourth time I've tried to make this video today, and it just kept pissing me off. So finally, I decided, you know what? I'm gonna do this game or this video with gameplay of Injustice. It'll kind of match up with some of the things we're gonna talk about in this video, which I am calling Let's Talk instead of a Let's Play series. It's going to be more of me coming on and talking with gameplay of other games. It won't be the same game every week. We might do a few of the same kind of games like week to week, but I don't know yet. I'm still working out the kinks. I'm still trying to figure it out, but I wanted to get the first video in and try and give you guys what's the word I'm looking for? A preview of what's to come from this series. So this one's a little bit different. It's not going to be like this. It's not going to be the same like this every week, where I'm kind of like blabbing on and on and on and on. I'll get to a point in this. I'll get to a point. I promise. I swear. So we're doing some gameplay of Injustice. I'm playing as Batman. On the battle single player, and I'm doing the villain tier. So I will be fighting all villains as Batman, which is awesome. Batman is fucking cool. So first things that I want to talk about is something that I have an idea for that I'm gonna put into the works here very soon. I just gotta find people that know a lot about Batman, like I know a lot about Batman. And it's gonna be a weekly series like this one. They'll probably come out on different days. And it's just gonna be pretty much like Batman on Batman. I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna talk about Batman. We'll do the first few episodes, or probably for the first couple of months, we will do gameplay of the Arkham games. Because we don't have a video like a good camera yet. We could do it from the phone, but my phone quality is not that great. I have a HTC, what is it, Droid DNA. Man, this guy is just kicking my ass. I was kicking his ass earlier, now he's kicking my ass. And the camera's not very great. I mean, sometimes I can get some good pictures with some good lighting, but videos aren't that great. If you've watched oh yes, I did it. If you watched my Pokemon video, I didn't really like the lighting and how it looked in that, and it just meh. It was meh. So I will be getting a better camera, hopefully eventually soon. But that's one of the plans for the channel. I want to do a Batman focused series where I come on with somebody else and we sit down and we talk about Batman. We talk about different stories. We talk about the video games. We talk about the movies. We talk about the comic books. And I'm really looking forward to doing it. I'll have more information on it later. I'm not going to talk too much in detail about it. But yeah, so that's that. Next, I originally planned on doing this part like later, like towards the end of the episode, but I tried it before in other gameplays, and I want to make this video at least a half hour long. I'm not gonna go any longer than a half hour. And one of the things I want to talk about is Walking Dead, and I can talk forever on and on and on about Walking Dead. Just it's one of my favorite television programs. I read the comic books, I play the Telltale Games video game of it, and I can talk about it for so fucking long. It's ridiculous. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get into it. What I want to do is, once Walking Dead starts in October, I'm gonna come on probably Monday after The Walking Dead is aired, and I'll talk about the episode, and I'll kind of give some predictions of the game, or of the game, of the show, for the next week. So, is he still? Okay, he's not in this super mode no more. We can activate ours though. Yeah. All right. So Mondays will be the scheduled slot. So look for that. As soon as Walking Dead starts, I will do that on the Monday. I'll talk about the episode, and we'll probably even talk about the video, or not the video game, the comic book a little bit. Kind of see where they connect and things like that, like what from the show connected with the comic book, and things like that, because they are both very different. Like, a lot of people say, oh, you read the comic book, it'll ruin the show for you. No, it won't. The comic and the show are completely different. They're not the same. Excuse me. Whew, it's late. Oh, they're not the same at all. They're very different. Let me go into some detail about how they're different. In the show, and in the comic books, actually, one of my favorite characters in the show and the comic books is Carl. Carl is Rick's son, the main character. Damn, fucking Doomsday is fucking my ass up. Holy crap. Come on, Doomsday! Carl is Rick's son, Rick and Lori's son. And his character I just find fascinating. He has so much depth to him. It's insane. That button right there. In the show particularly, I think when Chandler Riggs starts off as Carl, he's like, himself is like, I'm gonna say somewhere between 10 and 12. I mean, he's young, but he's not as young as he's depicted in the comic books. So those first few seasons, they kind of treat Carl as this kind of bother, like this. I don't know how to explain it. What's the word I'm looking for? They treat him like a nuisance, kind of. Like he's a burden to everybody. Everybody has to watch him out. Everybody has to keep their eye on him. Make sure he doesn't wander off and get into any trouble. And we're gonna lose to Doomsday here, guys. So sorry for the gameplay. And that's the way they kind of portray his character, as like this kid who we have to watch, and it's not that interesting until you get to season 3. There's a scene in the season 2 that changes everything for Carl. In season 2, spoiler alert if you have not seen, season 2, Carl goes wandering off into the woods, and he comes across a zombie. And the zombie's stuck in the mud, and he's like kind of messing with it. He's like throwing rocks at it, and like pointing his gun at it. He's planning on killing it, but he ends up falling, and then the zombie gets loose and tries to eat him, tries to get him. So he runs away. He gets back up, runs away, and he goes back to the camp. Well, this zombie is able to follow him. It gets unstuck and follows Carl back to the camp and ends up killing one of the members of the camp. So Carl blames himself for it, and it's kind of, at the time you don't realize it, but that is a pivotal moment for Carl and his future and his part in the show. Starting up with season 3, you see this drastic change in not only appearance, but the way the character is portrayed. Chandler Riggs does a phenomenal job at playing the character. I don't think they could have chosen anyone better to play him. So, what is the change that we first notice off right away? Chandler Riggs, or Carl, you can kind of see he's learned how to use a weapon properly a lot better. In Season 2, he started that training with his weapon. And we're going to switch characters, guys. I was going to play through this as Batman. But Doomsday keeps fucking me up, so let's go to Superman to fight Doomsday. Or we could use a DLC character like Scorpion. Let's go with Scorpion. I didn't fight Solomon Grundy. Whatever. Injustice. Getting back to what I was talking about, sorry, I got kind of sidetracked there. I was picking a new character. His character transforms, and he's more of this, like, he's coming into this zombie apocalypse. He's a kid being raised in a hellish world, and he has to kind of adapt. He's no longer going to have the same kind of morals as you and I would have, and because we've lived in a world where everything has been normal. There's no zombies, there's no fight for your life every day kind of scenario upon us, and things will be different for me as it would be for a kid who has to grow up in those kinds of conditions. They have to learn how to just be able to deal with certain things and be able to take a life if need be. God damn it. Keep hitting the wrong button. See, we're kicking his ass a lot better with Scorpion here. He's still beating us pretty good, but we're dishing it back. I just gotta, come on, don't do this to me. There we go. That was close. So you see these changes. Let me move on to an example of a drastic change that Carl has in Season 3. Another spoiler alert. Carl has to put a bullet in his mother's head after she has died. She gave birth to a child and she couldn't handle, or she died pretty much. What the fuck? He dodged that. What? So she loses too much blood or whatever. She died. She had to have a C-section. Carl has to put a bullet in her head, and it's a sad moment because Carl is who really could be able to do that? Who could do that? Be able to just put a bullet in their mom's head, even if they were dead. And it was just sad, and I don't know really how to explain it that well, but it was a sad moment. And Carl, for the show, I'm going to get into depth about his character in the comic books. I think I'll do a better job of explaining things for his comic book rendition, because I've read the comic book several times. I've watched the show several times, but I pick up things better if I read them. And Carl in the show, or in the comics, he is 7 years old when the comic books start. You see this transition from when they're on the road into Herschel's farm onto the prison, and you kind of see, yeah, he's still this little kid kind of in these certain areas, but then after the prison, and they show this in the show too, him and Rick go to a house and they're kind of stranded there. Carl has to kind of fend for himself because Rick has been badly injured. And in the show, they depicted Carl as being pissed off at his father, kind of blaming him for everything. Where in the comic books, Carl was very sad. He was dealing with his mother being dead. His mother had just died. in the comics. When the governor sieged the prison, she died during the siege. She didn't die during childbirth, and he had lost his sister even too. Lori was holding the baby, and she was killed holding the baby, and thus the baby died too, because she was shot, and they went through her and killed the baby. So Carl has lost pretty much everybody in his family except for his dad, and now he's afraid that he might lose his dad. And he's sitting there kind of holding his dad's head in his lap, and he says, "Don't worry, Dad, I'll be able to take care of myself. I can be a strong boy if I need be." And that's not what happened in the show at all. The show, Carl was pissed. He told Rick that he could survive without him, just because he was mad. See, I should have picked Superman that first time I restarted. Superman kicked his ass. He was mad at Rick. He was pissed off. He was like, "You're supposed to help us. You're supposed to make the right decision, but you didn't. And I'll be fine without you." Well, and then later on in the show, he kind of says, "No, I can't do it without you," and whatnot. And so it kind of goes back on what he said, but still. It was such a difference between the two characters. In the show, he's kind of like this pissed off teenager, and then in the comic books, at this point he's still this loyal kid to his father. Now we'll go a little bit further, and everyone remembers the last episode. If you're a Walking Dead fan, you remember the last episode of season 4. Where Rick goes fucking batshit crazy and bites that motherfucker in the neck and kills him, and then guts the other guy with a knife who's trying to rape Carl. That actually happened in the comic books, pretty much panel to panel, from scene to scene. In the show to the comics, they were all the same, and it was crazy. I was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing that I didn't think they'd put it in it. I thought it would have been too graphic." But they surprised me, and I was like, "Wow, they actually put that in there." And it was that scene there. It's phenomenal. I don't remember if in the show. Yes, in the show, Carl does watch as Rick guts this guy that tried to rape him. In the comic books, it's the same way. He sits there and he watches Rick as he guts this guy for trying to rape him. And that right there is another pivotal moment that will change the character. I'm sure it will change Carl in the show very drastically, and it changed Carl in the comic books very drastically. He kind of became like, "All right, I need to defend myself more. I need to be useful more, and I need to kill when it's necessary." And so we're going to fast forward a little bit further. I'm not going to give away too much here, because now we're going into the areas where the show has not been yet. But in a story arc in the comic books, they come across a villain who is very different from the governor in terms of how evil he is. This character, a lot of people say that this character is like the Governor 2.0, where I think this person is a completely different character from the Governor. The Governor kind of, especially in the comic books, you can see the difference. The Governor in the comic books was a lot more fucked up than he was in the show. As fucked up as he was in the show, he was much worse in the comic books. So this other character, I'm gonna tell you his name now. I'm tired of calling him this other character. Negan is the character's name. He is different from the Governor in the fact that he kind of has a moral system. He kind of has a way of how he does things. Like, he doesn't just do it because he's fucked up in the head and he wants to fucking kill people. He kind of has somewhat of a moral system where he's like, "I won't kill you if you do this." If you do what I say, I won't kill you. Whereas the governor, he says, do what I tell you to do, and he still might kill you anyway. If that makes any sense. So, Carl, in the comic books, he wants to obviously kill Negan. Negan has done wrong to the people of his group. He has killed certain members. I won't tell you who, but he's killed certain members, and Carl wants him dead. Rick wants him dead too, but Carl is more. You can see it in the way that Robert Kirkman or whoever does the drawing for it. I'm not sure who does the drawings. But you can see it in the panels. You can see the hatred and the want of kind of death in his eyes. Just the way they present Carl. It's crazy. So in the comics he kind of goes behind Rick's back and like sneaks off to try and kill this character, ends up getting caught, and he doesn't end up killing the character. He gets caught and he has to kind of figure out a way to get himself out of the situation. And the easiest way he could do it was talk to this character, talk to Negan, and they kind of came in the same comic. Negan really liked Carl. Negan thought Carl was an interesting kid. He's like, this kid is going to become the future of this world. He is being raised in a zombie apocalypse, and he is going to learn the things he needs to learn and do the things that are necessary to survive. So Negan likes him. Carl doesn't really like Negan. I'm gonna fast forward just a little bit more. I'm not gonna give away anything. Where Carl, there's a time gap. There's a jump from the previous story arc to the story arc that we're on now. And I'm gonna say it's around like maybe 2 years that this time gap happens. And we see Carl and Rick, and we see Andrea. This won't be spoilers for anybody because Andrea's dead in the show if you have not seen. So, but in the comic books, Andrea's still alive, and Rick and Andrea are together. And like Carl kind of has accepted this fact. He's like, okay, my dad's dating Andrea, whatever. My mom's been dead for a while now. This is before the time jump, and so he gets along with Andrea. He gets along with his dad being with Andrea. But now in this time gap, you see Carl calling Andrea mom, which, I mean, there has to be some time gap where he's gotten used to the fact of Andrea being around and being with his dad and being there for him, so now he's comfortable enough to call Andrea mom. Okay, so there's that. You got that there. So you see another change in his character, mainly because they've came into a time where things are more peaceful now, and he can kind of relax, and he doesn't need to be on edge all the time. But we do see in the last few panels of the issue, I'm going to lose again, guys. I just suck at this game, apparently. In the last few panels of that issue, we see Carl talking to somebody in the dark. Who that somebody is, I'm not going to tell you. It'll ruin the comic book, although I've given a lot of spoilers today for the comic book and potentially the show. So I'm not going to give away anything more, but you see him kind of talking to this person, and he kind of is giving a what is a good word to describe it without spoiling it? He's like old Carl again. he doesn't trust this person, and he tells this person to pretty much mind his P's and Q's or Carl will kill him. If that makes any sense. That's all I'm going to say. But the fact of the matter is, you see Carl, you seen him kind of transition from little kid to a hardened person to now this kind of kid that's kind of being able to settle down and kind of hold in that aggression, but he can still muster it up when he needs to. He can still intimidate if he needs to. And he's just a very interesting character to me. He's one of my favorites. And I can't wait. I can't wait for more Walking Dead issues. I know there's one out right now that I haven't picked up yet. I'll have to get that soon. And I can't wait for the show to start up in October. And I can't wait to do this, like, kind of like a mini series, because it's not going to be once Walking Dead's over, that series will be done, but we'll pick it back up again once the Walking Dead starts up again. So when they take their 2-month break in between the seasons, or no, not in between seasons, but like they take a break for 2 months. They show like the first 8 episodes, and then they take a break for 2 months, and then they show the last 8 episodes. We won't be doing it during that time, and we won't be doing it in between seasons either. So we might do a couple of a few special episodes where I come on and I just talk about the comic book solely in between, but that won't be until like maybe a story arc has been finished or something. So with that in mind, let me know what you guys think. Would you like a Walking Dead video every week when the Walking Dead show starts up? Would you want a Batman? I'm still doing it either way. I'm just I want to see what you guys think about it. If you guys think it's a cool idea or what, but I'm gonna do it either way. I'm the person with the channel here. I get to choose whatever the hell I want. But yeah, so this series, it's weird to me right now. I'm still trying to figure it out. I think I'm gonna do this every week. I don't know. Maybe just when I have an idea of something I want to talk about. And we finally kicked Bane's ass after he kicked our ass like 4 times. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this series yet. Let's Talk is what I'm calling it. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it just yet. They will be half-hour long, each and every one of them. So I'll be doing different games. I don't think I'll do this game again. I was horrible for this game. I really apologize for the bad shit that I was doing in this game. It wasn't that great. I understand. You don't have to yell at me anymore. But this episode, this series, Let's Talk, it's also going to show you, like, my element. It's going to show you, like, what, like, kind of, like, what I'm interested in and what kind of video games I play other than my Let's Plays. Injustice I don't play very often. It's one of my only fighting games I have. So I play it when friends are over. I don't play it online because people online are fucking crazy. They just sit here and they fucking combo breaker 3000 blah. That was Killer Instinct, but whatever. Still, fighting games online I just find ridiculous. There was one game. What game was that? Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I thought that game was the shit. I played the crap out of the story mode, and then I went online and got my ass kicked by like 12-year-old girls. I was like, what the fuck? See, right now, I'm even losing to the NPC right now. That's how fucking awesome I am at this shit. Yeah. Watch me fall down the fucking trees and into here, and now I gotta fight this bitch again, and she's probably gonna kick my ass. How did she? Oh, wait, she's... Okay, I'm Scorpion. Oh, we can use our special move. Alright, so that's gonna end this episode. I know you're probably like, oh no, I wanna see you fucking beat her, but it's not gonna happen. So, like if you enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next week, or whenever the hell I feel like doing another one.